"I'll have one in every color" may one day be a saying of the past, thanks to this dazzling color-shifting fabric developed by a research team in Hong Kong. The garments on display here are embedded with a tiny camera and use artificial intelligence to generate an array of colored illuminations, from lush purples to vivid reds. The intelligent textile was showcased at Milan Fashion Week earlier this year, and the team behind it believes it could push the fashion industry towards a more inclusive, sustainable, and vibrant future. Jean Tan is a member of the team that developed the glowing fabric at the Hong Kong-based Laboratory for Artificial Intelligence and Design, or AIDLab. Their research focuses on the integration of AI with design.
So we have used a polymeric optical fiber with textile-based yarns. So when you touch it, you can see that the hand feel is just like any ordinary knitted fabric. So it actually is very soft and very tactile.
Not only is the material comfortable, she says, it could also be used for rehabilitative purposes.
Because multisensory stimulation is something that is very common for, it's a form of well-being for a lot of people with dementia, people with learning challenges. So it actually encourages their well-being and gives them a sense of calm, and also a very easy way for them to have engagement and direct response. So by having a simple gesture or simple movement, they can see a color change. This is how they will be able to get instant reaction.
For instance, a thumbs up triggers deep blue, a finger heart gesture elicits pink, and an OK sign prompts a jewel-toned green illumination.
You can take a picture of it.
The latest feature even enables wearers to choose colors from photos on their phone and project them onto the fabric. Researcher Miffy Yu also underscored the sustainability benefits of their technology.
你買咗一件可能係個 shape 啊你中意嘅衫啦，咁你可以因為個材質啦，跟住就去轉件衫嘅顏色咧，咁其實就唔會好似其他可能年輕人咁樣啦，可能買咗佢一個款好中意啦，咁就可能買晒佢所有色啊咁樣。咁萬一佢之後唔中意個款嘅時候，就抌晒啲衫啊，咁就造成浪費咁樣咯。
AIDLab hopes that the technology will one day be commercialized. It's currently on display in installations at shopping malls and other locations in Hong Kong.
Renault plans to cut production costs per vehicle. The French car maker said Thursday that cuts would come between now and 2027. It aims to reduce costs for internal combustion engines by 30% and by half for electric vehicles. Renault called the move an industrial transformation. The automaker further said the cost cuts would make the firm more agile and competitive. Renault also said it would make 4 new models at its Bursa site in Turkey. Thursday's update comes in the same week its alliance partners Nissan and Mitsubishi announced plans to help out with EVs. The auto giants said they would invest in Renault's EV unit Ampere and use it to develop electric vehicles for the European market. Renault has a long-standing alliance with both Japanese companies.
Nvidia is working with the US government to ensure its latest chips comply with controls on exports to China. That's according to Chief Executive Jensen Huang on Wednesday. The firm has commanded more than 90% of China's $7 billion market for AI chips. But analysts say the latest US curbs create an opportunity for rivals to muscle in. Huang didn't comment on earlier Reuters reports that his company was delaying the launch of new chips especially crafted for China. He would only say that Nvidia was working closely with Washington to ensure its products complied with the export controls. When posting its November earnings, the chipmaker warned that it expects a steep drop in fourth-quarter sales to China as a result of the restrictions. Huang noted that the country normally accounts for about a fifth of Nvidia sales, but he didn't say what the new number might be. He described Chinese tech giant Huawei as a formidable rival. Separately, Huang said Nvidia was in talks with Singapore about a big investment there. The city-state has been developing its own AI model, dubbed Sea Lion.
At the COP28 climate conference in Dubai, there is alarm about the world's addiction to fossil fuels. But as electric vehicle sales surge, might the end of the oil age be closer than delegates think? experts are bringing forward their predictions for so-called peak oil, the moments when crude consumption finally starts to fall. The International Energy Agency, or IEA, now expects that moment to come in 2030, 10 years earlier than it previously forecast. Oil giant BP has also brought forward its forecast date, and it's all got to do with how we get about. Transport accounts for about 60% of oil demand, according to the IEA. But EVs are now expected to account for close to half of global vehicle sales by the end of the decade. The Cybertruck from Elon Musk's Tesla is just one of many new offerings.
And finally, the future will look like the future.
China is leading the way on sales, partly thanks to big subsidies for new zero-emission vehicles. EV sales in the US are far behind, but rising. Some feared the electric revolution could run out of juice. Ford, General Motors, and other big names have recently delayed or scrapped plans to ramp up output of EVs. They say rising labour costs and high interest rates are making the cars too costly for consumers. Many countries are also short of charging stations, and subsidies could be phased out. Even so, the cost of batteries is falling fast, and that could make EVs cheaper than regular cars. While that has some experts optimistic, there's a long way to go. The IEA says EV sales need to hit 70% of the total market by 2030, if the world is to hit targets set by current climate accords.
Volkswagen shareholders demanded the auto giant show more transparency on Wednesday. The comments came from Union Investment and Decker Investment, two key stakeholders in the company. It reflects ongoing concerns over Volkswagen's engagement in China's Xinjiang region. Rights groups have documented abuses, including forced labour in detention camps. Beijing denies all such charges. On Tuesday, Volkswagen said a long-awaited independent audit had found no evidence of forced labour at its jointly owned site in Xinjiang. Although the auditor further said the challenges of data collection in China were widely known. The investigation included on-site interviews and inspection of employee contracts and salary payments for the site's 197 employees. Union Investment called the audit a step in the right direction, but warned VW had not yet reached its goal. They argued there is still a lot to do and that a functioning complaints management system must be established. Even so, investors liked what they heard about the audit. VW shares were up close to 2.7% on Wednesday morning, helping drive the German DAX stock index to an all-time high.
iPhone maker Foxconn is feeling bullish about holiday season sales. On Tuesday, the Taiwan-based giant lifted its outlook for the fourth quarter. That is traditionally its strongest season, with consumers snapping up smartphones and other gadgets over the festive period. Now Foxconn says the quarter has started better than expected and will beat earlier forecasts of significant growth. The firm doesn't put exact numbers on its predictions. Foxconn is the world's largest maker of electronics for other brands and is the top supplier of iPhones. It says revenue topped $20 billion in November, the second highest figure on record for the month. Consumer electronics, including smartphones, saw strong growth on the year, although that was coming off a low base, with key factories facing lockdowns this time 12 months ago. The company says components and car parts also enjoyed strong growth. Last month it logged a surprise 11% jump in third quarter profit, but warned that revenue for the full year would be slightly down.